Welcome to A Quest for Metal, and again we're back here for the final video of November, before we start getting into the lists and shit of December, all the fun juicy stuff. But we're here for the final ranking, probably the final ranking of this year maybe, we'll see. It's Sodom's discography, and they just released a new album, and it's fucking awesome, spoiler alert for that. But yeah, let's get into Sodom's discography. But before I do, let me know down below what's your favourite Sodom album, what's your least favourite, and let's get fucking started. So coming in last is The Final Sign of Evil. Now, before you start screaming at me, there's nothing wrong with this album per se. I think it's better than some of the others. The reason it's fucking last, is it's a re-recording of their best fucking album, which is EP, In the Sign of Evil, which, I mean, is a classic, and they re-recorded it for this album, plus 7 other songs, so I shouldn't really bash it too much, and I'm not bashing it, I'm just putting it here because you don't need to re-record it, it's already good. Feels weird, this album, there's nothing bad about it, it's just, shouldn't exist. That's the reason it's last. Shouldn't exist. So coming in last with the actual worst album is Get What You Deserve, and I got what I deserved with this album. It's pretty shit. People say that Sodom have a flawless discography, and I disagree. There's 2 albums I hate. I don't like this album. I think it's shit. All the songs have this kind of like punky feel to it. It's similar to Dark Throne when they did the kind of cross-punk era albums. I don't like them either. Anything with like punk influences is doesn't really tickle my fancy, and neither do these 2 fucking albums, so you know what's next. But this one is the worst for me. It's the worst for me because it's pure fucking that punky thrash sound the entire way through, whereas the next one, it tries to be something different. But some songs on here are fun, like Jabba the Hutt. I mean, him shouting Jabba the Hutt is always fun, so I'll give him credit for that, but overall, I'm never gonna fucking listen to this again. So next up is Masquerading Blood, of course. It is a weak album for Sodom, and it still has some of that kind of punk leanings, but it's a bit better. But it's still kind of fucking dull as dishwater. The songwriting isn't there. It's the passion isn't really there. It's just kind of fucking flat and dull. I remember listening to this after I listened to, say, like, what did I listen to before this? Like M16 and Obsessed by Cruelty and stuff. And then I listened to this and I was like, what the fuck happened? Yeah, it's not good. So these 2 albums can get in the fucking bin. Luckily, almost every other Sodom album is fucking amazing. So aside from these 2 ones, which I just don't care for, the rest of Sodom's discography, and they have a lot, is really fun, and I'd play them again and again. So let's get to the juicy shit. So next up is Sodom, the self-titled, and this is a great album for like most bands, but because it's Sodom, they have so many better albums that this kind of falls short, but it's still a fantastic album, and it's thrash. It's not this kind of punky thrash. It's not death thrash. It's not black thrash like the early stuff. It's just thrash. Kind of middle of the road though. Kind of middle of the road. It's kind of dull again, but not even as close as to being as bad as Masquerading Blood. So yeah, it's coming a bit higher. It's coming here, and maybe with like hundreds more listens, it might rise higher. But I'm not feeling it as much as the other albums. But it's not bad. But again, not feeling it as much. So next up is Decision Day. A lot of people like this album, and I like it as well. But I don't think it's like super amazing like some people say. It has this slower pace to it, which generally I love, but I think it works better on M16, and it works better on in War and Pieces. On this one, doesn't work as well. But again, nothing fucking wrong with it. A massive step up from Sodom, a massive step up from the punky stuff. So I still enjoy it, I still get a kick out of it. I love the kind of slower side of it, the more melodic side of it. But I do think they do it better on the aforementioned albums. So yeah, that's that. Next up is Till Death Do Us Unite, and the album cover is fucking awful. It's one of the worst album covers of all goddamn time. Luckily, the music isn't. The music's fucking amazing. This is kind of speed metal-y. This is kind of like Motorhead-esque. Fast, fucking fast the entire way through. All these songs kick you until you explode. your innards are just falling out your eyes when you listen to this because you're headbanging too much that your guts just go out your eyes. It's awesome. Ignore the fucking album cover. Listen to the album. It's actually pretty fucking good. So yeah, gotta love it. Gotta goddamn love it. Next up is the epitome of torture. Another one which I think is better than Decision Day. I think the melodies on here are amazing and a lot better in my opinion. Maybe Decision Day will grow me. I still fucking think it's great, but it needs more time to grow. Needs more time to grow. So yeah, Epitome of Torture. Fucking love it. And next up, this is kind of on level with Epitome of Torture. These two are on level, is the latest album, Genesis 19. Again, this one, kind of like Decision Day, needs time to grow. It's only came out. You know, it's only just came out. But I think it's like a step above that. Some of these songs harken back to the glory days. Like, what's it fucking called? The Friendly Fire. Friendly Fire, which has more of a black and thrash kind of sound, similar to like the early shit, like Persecution Mania and stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, and the blast beats on that, fucking amazing song. Fuck it. And then you got songs like Sodom and Gomorrah, which have kind of more of a melodic leaning, kind of like the Epitome of Torture. But yeah, it has fucking everything in it. It has everything in it that you want and need from a Sodom album, and I think it's a good kind of collection of all the kind of sounds. It's got the proper thrash sound, it's got the black and thrash sound, it's got more melodic stuff and slower stuff. Everything you need in this album. Amazing artwork, I love it. It's a great album. Next up is Better Off Dead, and some people have this a lot higher. It is the 4th album, and I think it is really fucking amazing, but slightly overrated. I do think, I mean, for me personally, there's albums I prefer, which is why it's a bit lower down, but come on, it's still a great fucking album, and the fact that they have too many good albums just show me having something lower does not mean it's bad. The album cover's a bit strange though. It's probably one of the worst alongside Till Death Do Us Part, just because it feels, I don't know, it just feels not Sodom. I want the mascot on the cover. You know, classic stuff like Persecution Mania, Agent Orange, M16, it's got all the classic mascot stuff on. Decision Day, it's got classic mascot. Well, where the fuck is he on this? He's probably hiding behind the main looking calendar thing, but yeah, I never liked the album art on this, but songs are fantastic. You know, it's classic for a reason. It's got good shit on, so yeah, give it a listen. Next up is In War and Pieces, and holy shit, this album blew me away. I love the melodies in this fucking album. This is one of my favourites. And I was going to put this one, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm going to listen to the older stuff again. And, you know, you fucking know. But this is a good. Through Toxic Veins being a fucking banger. Through Toxic Veins is so fucking good. This album has so many good songs, and I loved it. The moment I heard this album, I fucking loved it. Fuck off, Seagull. Next up is Code Red. Amazing album cover again, and this is the comeback album, the proper comeback album, when they went just straight balls to the walls, Teutonic thrash like they used to be, after all the weird shit that they used to do. But one of the experimental albums I fucking adore, but the other ones, This is the comeback, coming back strong, aggressive as fuck. It's one of the heaviest albums, it's one of the most thrashy albums, it's Sodom like you know and love, and I fucking adore it. It's one of the best Sodom albums. They have too many good ones. Too many fucking good ones. Here comes the controversy. Coming in at number 5 is Agent Orange, the masterpiece by them. And I think it is a masterpiece. I think it's awesome the entire way through. It just doesn't hold my attention as much as the other 4. You got songs like, of course, Agent Orange, Tired and Red, Baptism of Fire. Got some good shit on here. I do think there's better Sodom albums. I mean, if you're looking for pure thrash, you can't really do much wrong with this. My leaning is to thrash tinged with other genres. My favourites, of course, we'll get to in a second. This is just thrash. The entire way through. It's good fucking thrash. It's heavy thrash, and it's a masterpiece for a fucking reason. It's a masterpiece for a reason. All the seagulls are going crazy over it. That's how good it is. It's a masterpiece. It's just, I have leanings. I prefer some other sounds, so let's get to them. So yeah, coming in at number 4 is Obsessed by Cruelty, the debut album. And this has that blackened sound. It has that raw sound. It's kind of like first wave black metal, kind of like, you know, like Venom's Welcome to Hell, Bathory's Self-Titled. It's that kind of sound, you know, it's that kind of sound. I love that kind of sound. It's my favourite. But I think 2 other albums kind of do it better. Well, 1 album and 1 EP. I've already mentioned the EP In the Sign of Evil, which is a fucking masterpiece and will be number 1 if I included EPs in my list, but I don't include EPs. And I've never done it, so I'm not gonna give Sodom like the kind of, you know, you get one, you can have a fucking EP in this one. It's not gonna happen, but it would be number 1. There is another album which does Black and Thrash better than this, but this is raw, this is intense, it's just the songwriting is better on another particular album, which we'll get to soon. So let's move on. Number 3 is M16. I love this album. This is my first Sodom album I ever heard ages ago. The songs M16, Napalm in the Morning is got to be probably my favourite Sodom song. Well, one of my favourite Sodom songs. Love the melodies in this. This is one of my favourite melodic Sodom albums. Underrated as fuck. I love the whole Vietnam War thing. What can I say? It's M16. You all know it. You all know it. You all love it. It's a fucking classic. So top 2 now. Number 2 is Tapping the Fucking Vein. This is an underrated album. Everyone needs to go out and listen to Tapping the Vein. You know why? Because it's fucking intense. This is the death thrash sound I was talking about. This is kind of in the experimental era that they had, but this album works, whereas the punky ones fucking don't. This album works because it's death thrash. And I love death metal. More than thrash metal. So, hell fucking yes, this album is fucking amazing. So good. I'm going insane. Tapping the Vein. Too good. Too good. This album is just, it punches you in the face every single second and you love it. This album is a 10 out of 10. One of my favourite Sodom albums and would be number 1 if it wasn't for a fucking masterpiece. For a fucking masterpiece. Which we'll get to right now. My favourite Sodom album of all time and the best Sodom album, no questions asked, is Persecution Mania. It's got that black and thrash sound, like I said. It's a step up in songwriting quality, then Obsessed by Cruelty. It's got Nuclear Winter on. Nuclear fucking Winter. Nuclear Winter! How good is that? The delivery, that is my favourite song by Sodom. Nuclear Winter, one of the best thrash songs ever made. This album, one of the best albums ever made. Again, part of that first wave black metal. It's fucking flawless. It's fucking flawless. And if anyone says Agent Orange is better, they're wrong. It's not better. Persecution Mania is the best Sodom album. No questions asked. So that was my list for Sodom albums ranked. Do you agree with my list? Do you hate me for having some of the albums some kind of low? Let me know down below and I'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.